And this is WMNF Tampa, and you are used to hearing Tuesday Cafe at this time. But what we're going to do today, especially because it's Fun Drive, is we're going to hear the rest of Democracy Now! No reason that you should get shorted for the rest of Democracy Now! So we're going to play that for you. But I am going to give out the phone number. If you support shows like Tuesday Cafe and Democracy Now! And Wide Awake America and all the great programming that we bring you here on WMNF, please give us a call and support this show, 813-239-9663. Let's go back and hear more of today's Democracy Now! And the number to call in, again, is 813-239-9663. You can also donate at WMNF.org. Democracy Now! Is talking about the detention centers that are happening around the country and the ICE detentions. This is Tuesday Cafe and Democracy Now! On WMNF Tampa.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. President Trump is pushing Republican senators to back his what he calls big, beautiful bill, which includes key funding to carry out his administration's agenda of arresting as many as 3,000 immigrants and asylum seekers a day, then jail them until their deportation. The bill includes more than $150 billion in additional funding to hire new ICE agents and add detention space. ICE has already signed new agreements with jails around the country. This comes as many high-profile student activists facing deportation have been transferred to ICE jails in Louisiana, and the family of a New York City high school student from Venezuela who was recently detained at his immigration court date say he was shuttled between 4 different states in 5 days: New Jersey, Texas, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. Immigrants have protested poor conditions at the ICE jails, many of which are run by private prison companies like GEO Group and CoreCivic. On Sunday, activists joined La Resistencia for a Solidarity Day outside Northwest Detention Center run by GEO Group in Tacoma, Washington.
We know that when we fight for a single migrant, it is not just about freeing all detained migrants, but about ending the root causes of forced migration, the abolition of all systems that lead to deportations.
This comes as ICE confirmed there's been 9 deaths in custody since President Trump took office. For more, we're joined by Detention Watch Network Executive Director Silky Shah, author of the book Unbuild Walls: Why Immigrant Justice Needs Abolition. Silky, welcome back to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us. Describe where people are being brought to, what this detention network, as the Trump administration says they're cutting costs, they're doing it to pay for tax breaks for the rich. They are massively increasing the Homeland Security and ICE budget.
Yeah, I mean, when the detention system is sprawling, people are detained in every single part of the country. There has been a massive expansion of detention for years, and now what we're seeing under President Trump is even more expansion, which could be even that much more exponential if this budget bill passes. And it really feels like a paradigm shifting moment. After 9/11, we saw so much more money funneled into the system, into border security, into immigrant detention, and the detention system doubled. We're in that situation again, where now the numbers are reaching close to 50,000, which is what it was back in 2019. People are being packed into overcrowded cells. People are not getting medical care. They're in conditions where they're languishing, and they're doing everything they can to expand, both here in the U.S. and also seeing people be now detained in third countries abroad.
Yeah, Silky, I wanted to ask you about that, this offshoring of detention by the Trump administration through third-party countries. To what extent do you see that growing as well? And of course, there are continue to be legal battles over the constitutionality of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing to remember is that the U.S. has the largest immigration detention system in the world, largely because the U.S. has the largest prison system in the world. So U.S. policy is always focused on detaining people here, especially those people who are coming to the border, who are or currently live here and are being detained and are in deportation proceedings. But across the world, many countries actually detain people in other locations, Australia, England, the UK, Israel, other places have done this. And so it's not totally unprecedented. It is really concerning to see the U.S. move in this direction while at the same time building up the detention capacity here. So we need to make sure that we're doing the work to say, no, it's not okay to transfer people offshore, but not normalize the detention that's growing here more and more in county jails, in private prison companies, and all these other types of spaces, military bases, the use of Bureau of Prison facilities. We're seeing expansion in so many levels.
And what about this tactic of effectively disappearing people who have been detained by constantly transferring them from one ICE detention facility to another so that their family members and lawyers have trouble even finding them?
This is actually nothing new. We've seen this for years in ICE detention where people are constantly transferred, sometimes because of retaliation, because people might be organizing on this inside, sometimes because of capacity concerns, and often to, like you were saying, to disrupt their experience and get them to sign away their rights and be deported because they are no longer near family or no longer near counsel or in these remote detention centers that don't have medical care. The conditions are terrible. So it's a tactic that's been used for a very long time. And what we've seen over time as the detention system has ballooned in these moments when it's really heightened, transfers are much more rampant and it's much more disruptive to the system.
Talk about the Democrats' response to what's happening.
I think what's so frustrating about the sort of what we are seeing right now is that for months, especially last year, there was much enabling. Harris ran a campaign where she was positioning herself as more hardline than Trump on this issue, leading to the passage of the Laken Riley Act in January, which actually expanded mandatory detention, the most we've seen in 30 years. And so really what's so frustrating is that the Democrats have really capitulated on this issue. And now we're seeing many more members of Congress doing unannounced inspections of facilities, which is great to see. But we really need to make sure this budget bill doesn't pass and make sure that leaders say, no, we don't want to balloon the system. It would mean $45 billion more for immigrant detention, 13 times what the budget is currently. So, detention facilitates deportation. And their goal is to expand so that they can scale up the number of deportations.
And what about the Trump administration's use of detention to basically to repress political dissent, especially in relationship to the war in Gaza? You wrote a piece for Truth Out. Khalil case shows how migrant justice and Palestine solidarity are tied together.
Yeah, I think the reality is that the immigration detention system has become a testing ground for authoritarianism. And so you're seeing that in the case of the student detentions where you have people being targeted essentially for thought crimes. But the thing that we have to understand is that for 30 years, many immigrants have been denied due process because of their interactions with the criminal legal system or because they're newly arriving. And so this is really building on many, many years of expanding mandatory detention, including for people who have green cards and people who are legal permanent residents. And so that's not necessarily new, but then to move and say they're going to go after people for thought crimes, and particularly, and part of the reason I wrote that piece is to say, the immigrant justice fight is an internationalist fight. We have to understand that U.S. foreign policy plays a huge role in the reason why that people are migrating. And we have to see that, the people who are on the receiving end of that are people who are being targeted here, whether they're Palestinians or people who support Palestinians or Haitians or Venezuelans or other communities that have been on the receiving end of U.S. foreign policy. And it's so important for us to really think about our work as understanding the root causes and the role that U.S. foreign policy plays in migration right now.
Well, Silke Shaw, I want to thank you so much for being with us, Executive Director of Detention Watch Network.
Well, that was today's Democracy Now! And we really appreciate you joining us for Democracy Now! And supporting that show. And we are going to now kind of transition to hear more of what was on Tuesday Cafe over the last few months. If you're a fan of WMNF's news and public affairs programming, like Tuesday Cafe, like Democracy Now!, we're looking to hear from you right now. I want to thank the last few people who donated during Democracy Now!. Warren from Bradenton called in with a $100 donation. He is getting the WMNF trucker hat. You can check out that trucker hat on our website, WMNF.org, and make your donation there if you'd like. And here's what Warren said. He wants to thank Rob Lorai for starting this station, and he loves WMNF. So thank you to Rob and all the founders, of course, for founding WMNF. And thank you to Warren for that great donation. We appreciate that. Also, Anonymous helped Democracy Now! Meet its goal with a $100 contribution from Seminole, and Anonymous is getting a WMNF t-shirt, the short-sleeved artist t-shirt, which is available to you for a $100 donation or more. And also, we have our first donation during Tuesday Cafe, which is Brady Hawkins from Tampa, is contributing $15, says, thank you for getting some quality interviews with people we don't usually hear from. It's greatly appreciated. Well, thank you to all those people who made contributions during Tuesday Cafe and Democracy Now! We are 23 hours away from ending this fund drive, and we're hoping to end it with a bang. We would love to hear from you. 813-239-9663. We have a $1,700 goal this hour. We hope that Tuesday Cafe, like all the other news and public affairs shows, will make its goal this hour. It's a lofty goal, so we really need your help. 813-239-9663. And joining me in the studio today is Patricia Alonso. Thank you so much for coming in and helping us pitch.
It is truly my pleasure to be here and support public radio. I know that public radio is under attack right now from the administration and from many different sides of the aisle, sadly. So I'm here to support public radio to ensure that we continue to fulfill the mission of public radio. So call WMNF at 813-239-9663 or go to our website at WMNF.org and make a donation today to preserve public radio and some of the great shows that are on WMNF.
And Patricia has substituted for me on Tuesday Cafe in the past. You may recognize her voice. And we are going to hear this hour some of the programs, some of the interviews that I've done on Democracy. Sorry, so many shows done today on Tuesday Cafe. I've done this this year, that is. For example, we have brought you a forum by Pinellas Beach mayors talking about the hurricane season. We brought you an interview that we'll hear more of later this hour about the Tampa Free Every Center. I brought you an interview with the group Stream, which is a Manatee County faith group that talks about housing and some other things. Also, we heard from the hands-off protests, not only in Sarasota and Tampa, but from around the country, thanks to Pacifica Radio's coverage. We heard about SDS National Day of Action for Higher Education. We're going to hear, I'll tell you some more of the programs that we've brought you over the last few months. But I'd really like to ask you to support WMNF and support Tuesday Cafe with your donations right now. The number to call in is 813-239-9663, or you can donate at WMNF.org. Here are some people who donated ahead of time, right before before Tuesday Cafe even started. I want to thank Paul and Gail Carroll calling all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina. Thanks, Paul and Gail, with a $73 donation to support Tuesday Cafe. We really appreciate that. Great to hear from you. And we have a challenge. We have this anonymous person has made a challenge. Thank you to Anonymous. And we are getting $264 contributed to WMNF's Tuesday Cafe if we can get 3 people joining the Circle of Friends this morning. So I'm looking for Circle of Friends members to join. You can join for $5 a month or anything more than that, $10, $15, however much you can. You will help us to meet this challenge if we get a donation from you from Circle of Friends. So why don't you give us a call right now and tell the phone bank volunteer that you would like to join our sustaining membership, which is called Circle of Friends. You can call 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org.
And as you know, WMNF has been serving and platforming this community voices to inspire, to inform, to empower the community for the past 45 years. And if you enjoy the programming that's being created here and you want a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world, email, phone calls, texts, and public messages, as you know, from political figures, have made it clear that they think we are un-American here at WMNF because we are protecting the right of public radio and keeping you informed. They believe we should not exist. So how do we silence them? With your donation. Make your voice be heard. Donate to WMNF. Speak truth to power at WMNF and remain strong. Call 813-239-9663 or go to our website at WMNF.org. Help us meet our goal for today and the goal of the station to keep us live on the air every single day.
And the reason that we want to stay on the air is to bring you great programming. And part of that great programming is our morning interviews. For example, let me play a short segment from this interview I did a few months ago that you may have heard and you may have enjoyed. If you do enjoy it, please give us a call at 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org. Well, as you know, the name of the body of water directly to our west has been in question in Florida and in the United States government. Some people are calling it the Gulf of Mexico, and some people are calling it the Gulf of America. So what I did is I brought on the expert. I talked to Jack E. Davis, who is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and he is the author of the book, The Gulf, The Making of an American Sea. And I put that question to Jack E. Davis. Here's part of that interview.
Well, I've thought a lot about it, and it's both. It depends on one's opinion. There are a lot of people that are real happy with the name change, and there are those who are not so happy. I think I fall into the second camp. I grew up on the Gulf of Mexico. I have this lifelong in the Tampa Bay area, and I have a lifelong intimate relationship with it. And there's just something special about, writing the book was a labor of love, and it's just, to me, there's something special about that name. And I love the X in the middle of Mexico, and it cast my mind back to my childhood when I, thought about pirates and buried treasure, and X marks the spot, and that X marks the spot that I truly love.
So how did the Gulf of Mexico get its name, and when did that name first appear on maps?
Well, it first appeared on maps sometime, the best of our knowledge, sometime in the 16th century or the 1500s, and it's uncertain whether it came from some Spanish official or explorer / conquistador or from a cartographer. And it was, maps were changing a lot, particularly in those days, particularly of the New World, as more new land is being discovered by Europeans. Of course, well known to indigenous people had lived on those lands for tens of thousands of years, or anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12,000 years. And so we don't know exactly who came up with that name. At one point, the Gulf of Mexico was called the Gulf of New Spain, and Mexico was referred to by the Spanish as New Spain for quite a while.
So you mentioned the indigenous people that lived along the Gulf. What can you tell us, especially about the indigenous people and tribes of Florida that were there before Europeans arrived?
Well, the best that archaeologists and anthropologists can determine is that people have been living on Florida's Gulf Coast perhaps as long as 10,000 years. And 10,000 years ago, the Gulf of Mexico coastline, Florida coastline, reached anywhere from 70 to 90 miles out into the present-day Gulf of Mexico. And people lived out there. And along with megafauna, giant sloths, wildcats, and mammoths, and they lived off the land, but also the estuaries, the Calusa, who lived down in southwest Florida, perhaps as far north as Sarasota, depended almost exclusively on the estuarine environment for their protein. They were sedentary people, but they were not agrarian because their food came to them by way of the Gulf of Mexico.
And what about the Tocobaga tribes? They lived along the Gulf as well?
Yes, they lived in the Tampa Bay area, and they tended to be seasonal residents. Some of them would stay on the Gulf year-round. Others would migrate inland during part of the year to hunt and to gather fruits and other edible plants. And then north of the Tocobaga were the Timucua, who were the same, who would spend seasons on the Gulf of Mexico. The Clusa, as far as we know, are the only ones who routinely spent their entire time on the Gulf of Mexico without leaving during certain seasons.
You already talked about how the Florida Peninsula used to be a lot wider, and so the Gulf of Mexico may be smaller in that sense. What else can you say about changes that have happened to the Gulf over the eons?
Well, one major change that we in Florida have benefited economically from is the creation of the beach. Our white quartz beaches are a true gift of our tourist industry. Is a true gift of nature. That quartz sand is actually sediment that over the eons migrated by way of erosion down to the Gulf of Mexico, streams, on rivers, entering the Gulf of Mexico, being caught up in the nearshore currents, and building the beaches and barrier islands, by the way, that we love so much today. And as I say in the book, when you walk on a beach in Florida, you walk on a mountain.
Well, that was Jack E. Davis, a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and the author of The Gulf, The Making of an American Sea, answering the question, among others, about whether it's the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. And that was an interview that was on Tuesday Cafe in the last few months. And we hope that the programming like that is worth supporting, that you think it's worth supporting. So give us a call right now, 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org. Thanks to your generous donations so far, every show has made its goal during the WMNF News and Public Affairs blocks, and we're hoping that the same can be said of Tuesday Cafe. We've already raised about $100 or so for Tuesday Cafe, and we have about $1,600 to go this hour. We're hoping that you can help us to do that. If you think that your financial contribution to keep community radio going strong in the Tampa Bay area is worth it, we would love to take your donation at 813-239-9663, or you can also donate on the web at WMNF.org. We're going to hear more segments of different interviews throughout the hour, but right now I'm joined with Patricia Alonso, who is going to help me to help raise those funds this hour. Patricia, are there any of these thank you gifts that we have to offer that you think that our audience might respond to?
You know, I really think that our audience is specifically because we are in a beach town, in a beach community. One of the things that is always a pain is taking your cell phones to the beach. Taking your cell phones, they get full of sand, they get wet, they get extremely hot because you have them there. You don't know what to do. I think one of the really cool things that we have in this summer fund drive is a dry bag. It's one of the cool swags that we have. It's a 2.5 liter bag with roll top closure. It is very phone friendly. With a donation of $65 or $6 a month, think about it. That's not even the cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, people. $6 a month can help us save public radio. And this swag bag is fantastic. You could slide your phone in. And also what's really great is you can still, through the plastic of the front of the phone, still tap your phone and be able to access your messages, your calls, everything. So I think this is a wonderful gift that's part of our swag with the Summer Fund Drive. So to the listening audience, $65 or $6 a month to support public radio, to protect the independent voice of WMNF and of the community, can get you the swag bag and become a great donor for WMNF.
Yeah, I have my eyes on the dry bag as well. Yeah. It's kind of a low-dough premium for a $65 donation.
I agree.
And $6 a month. It's something that you will use every time you go to the beach or every time you go canoeing. It's a really great thing that we can offer you.
Yeah, and even better is the beach pack, which has all three of the really cool swag gifts that we have by becoming a donor. And it's $250 to become a great donor and help us support reaching our goal during this show. And that has what? It has a really great dry bag that we just talked about. It has a cooler backpack that's padded. It's perfect perfect for snacks, for drinks. You can even put your tablet in it. And then on top of that, you also have a bandana that's poly cotton blend that is all incorporated into this beach pack. I think there's no better way than preparing for this summer than having our beach pack, but also promoting WMNF and the right for public radio to exist. So give us a call. Call us at 813-239-9663 or visit us at WMNF.org and make a donation as simple as $6 a month for the dry bag, or if you want be a little more generous, the beach pack that includes all 3 items for $250.
Yeah, the beach pack includes those things. It also includes a fourth thing, the beach sand mat, which is I think it's about a 4.5 by 6 foot mat for you to lay on that will keep the sand out from between your elbows and wherever else you don't want sand.
All the little crevices that we don't want to talk about.
So that's available for a $250 donation. Those 4 items as the beach pack. So I want to thank Zach for a donation to Tuesday Cafe. He says Airbuds AC is a big supporter of WMNF. So thanks to Zach and to Airbuds AC. They are getting that beach pack for the $250 contribution. So the beach sand mat, the bandana, the cooler backpack, and the dry bag, all that. And so thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We are happy to get that donation. We're still looking for members of the Circle of Friends.
Yes.
If you want to join the Circle of Friends, if we get 3 members, we'll get an additional $264 from this anonymous challenge. So we're looking for people to join the Circle of Friends, whether it's $5 a month, $10 a month, or whatever you can afford. We're really looking forward to that as well. Here are some of the other great interviews that we've brought you over the last few months on Tuesday Cafe. So if this is the type of information that you are happy to be getting from your community radio station, we would like to remind you that we brought you an interview between Jeremy Scahill and Dr. Sami Al-Arian. That was a conversation that we brought to you. Also, we interviewed a group about the ballot initiatives process and how that was changing under Florida law. Of course, the importance of the Gulf of Mexico and how it's being named. We just brought you a short segment of that. In a moment, we're going to hear St. Pete City Council member talking about the Rays deal that fell through.
Yes.
We brought you that. And there was a Tesla protest in Tampa that happened that we brought you audio from as well. So these are just some of the interviews that we've brought you on Tuesday Cafe over the last few months. So that's really what you're supporting when you make a donation to WMNF. So call now, 813-239-9663, or make a donation at WMNF.org. Tell you what, let's go right now to part of my interview with Richie Floyd. He is a St. Petersburg City Council member, and he voted against the original deal between the Tampa Bay Rays and the city of St. Pete to build a new stadium in the site of Tropicana Field. Well, right after that, the Tampa Bay Rays broke that deal. I had Richie Floyd on to talk about all the developments there. So here is just part of that interview.
The deal was to subsidize the Rays building a new stadium between the city and the county. It was about $600 million in cash. If you add debt subsidy, we're pushing $1 billion worth of subsidy, and sell them the land that Tropicana Field's on and its parking lots are on for significantly under market value. And in exchange, we were going to get 30 years of baseball played in St. Petersburg, as well as a bunch of community benefits that were relatively good. But, when you added it all up, the subsidy, the land subsidy, and the benefits we were getting back to the community and the tax dollars received, we were in a significant hole. The city itself was $250 million in the red based off of what we were going to receive versus what we were going to output in just cash subsidy alone. Between that and just having a disagreement with subsidizing a private corporation to the tune of $1 billion in public money, I couldn't support the agreement as it was written.
So despite your opposition and the opposition of a few other elected officials, the deal did go through, but then there was the surprising developments over the last months that the Rays kind of just decided that they would break the deal. They had their reasons, which we'll talk about, of course. But here are some of the words that the Tampa Bay Times described how residents felt after the team ripped up the deal last week. They said they felt angry, bewildered, and stunned. Were you stunned or angry that the Rays broke this deal?
I wasn't stunned. They had been sending smoke signals for months. I mean, in an October council meeting, they literally said the deal is dead. And so I wasn't stunned, angry. I would describe myself as frustrated for a few reasons. But the biggest point of frustration for me is that we at City Hall and city staff and the Rays themselves as well spent 2 years and millions of dollars negotiating this agreement. I pulled multiple all-nighters to read legal documents, and at a time when we're trying to recover from a hurricane, and they wasted our time. And it was rude to say the least, and it was not a good look for someone who wants a large investment from the city. And there was a little surprise as well in that this was the largest stadium subsidy in MLB history that they turned down. I have no idea where they think they're going to get more money than this, but it was twice the size of the next biggest subsidy that's ever actually taken place.
Some of the reasons that the Rays said that they killed this deal is that the hurricane, of course, came through, ripped the roof off of Tropicana Field. And then according to the Tampa Bay Times, they said that after the Rays decided to play this season in Tampa, Pinellas County commissioners delayed financing, but the county commission kind of says that nothing was delayed. There was one vote that was delayed, but they didn't break any part of the contract. So what are your thoughts about who the bad faith actors were in breaking the deal?
So the county commission delayed after, what I feel should be excusable, a historic hurricane season, back-to-back hit, and delayed for 7 weeks. But the thing is that the agreement did not require them to approve the bonds for months and months after that. They were so far ahead of any deadline that I don't think it's even notable. So the Rays giving that reasoning as to why they backed out, like a 7-week delay is going to cause that many problems. It had been 20 years that we've been talking about a stadium, and they're going to throw it in the trash for 7 weeks. I don't know what to make of that.
Irrespective of baseball, whether baseball's played in the Trop or not, the city, I think, still has some obligations to make repairs on Tropicana Field. Tell us what you know about that, what kinds of repairs, and what the cost might be.
Yeah, so the roof blew off Tropicana Field, as I'm sure most people know, and water got in there. It's not meant to have water in it. It doesn't have drainage. The seats and the field are not waterproof. And so we need to put a new roof on it, and we need to repair the things that got damaged by the rain hitting them. And the issue is that we owe them 3 more years of baseball there. There's 3 years left on our 30-year agreement with them. And so we're sort of in a bind that where we owe them an MLB quality stadium for 3 years. Even though this stadium is basically condemned to a fate of being torn down, we have to give them a stadium for the next 3 years. And so it's an expensive proposition for such a short amount of time. My preference would be for us to come to some sort of settlement or agreement with them that says we're not going to do something that's so obviously wasteful, like rebuild a stadium that's going to be torn down 3 years after it gets finished being used. But we have to have those negotiations out in the open and see what's a better deal for the city. And you'll see we're going to have some of that discussion next Thursday at the city council meeting.
Do you have an idea of what it might cost if there is no settlement, if the city just has to go ahead and put the new roof on, et cetera?
We're guessing a little north of $50 million. But the good news is, I guess I say good news, the silver lining is that the building does have insurance, and FEMA does cover things that insurance doesn't cover. So the city out of pocket, I'm expecting, and this is very speculative, so have that caveat. I'm expecting maybe $20 million, hopefully south of that, out of the city's pocket to rebuild the stadium.
That was St. Pete City Council member Richie Floyd speaking on WMNF's Tuesday Cafe in the last few months about the Rays stadium deal that the Tampa Bay Rays broke after they had signed this big stadium deal with Pinellas County and St. Petersburg. And that was Richie Floyd's reaction. This is WMNF Tampa. You're listening to Tuesday Cafe. That's just an example of the type of interviews that we bring you on Tuesday Cafe, and that we hope to that you support with your financial contributions. Give us a call at 813-239-9663. Yvonne Narvaez from Land O'Lakes has contributed $37.70 to WMNF and is getting the WMNF magnet. So thanks so much, Yvonne, for that donation. We still have about $1,300 to go this hour. member. We've got a challenge on the table. We'll get an additional $264 if we can get 3 more Circle of Friends members. So if you would like to join our sustaining membership at $5 a month or more, please give us a call and join our Circle of Friends. Here's the number. You can talk to a phone bank volunteer. It's 813-239-9663. You can also give us a donation on WMNF.org. I'm Sean Kinane. I'm the host of Tuesday Cafe. I'm also joined in the studio by Patricia Alonso. Thanks for being here, Patricia.
Oh, it's truly my pleasure to be here today, Sean. I appreciate the invite, but also such an important week, making sure that WMNF continues to be protected, continues to be supported by the community, and continues to speak truth to power. We know there's a lot of people out there that are against public radio because of the outlet that it provides for individuals like ourselves and yourselves to be on the radio and talk about what's truly happening in our communities. And the only way that you can contribute and continue to support public radio is to become a Circle of Friends member. As a Circle of Friends member, you can do something as simple as $5 to $6 a month to support public radio. And like I say, that's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So think about it. One less cup of coffee a month will make sure that you continue to protect WMNF and public radio here in our county and across the bridge. If you want to make sure that you continue to support us and help us meet our goals for today, call us at 813-239-9663. We have a wonderful group of people taking calls and taking your donations, or you can visit us at WMNF.org and make your donation. Plus, there's amazing swag out there that is branded with the WMNF logo and some really interesting taglines.
Yeah, so let me just tell you about the T-shirt. It's a seafoam green color, beautiful color, yes. And it's a very soft T-shirt as well. On the front, it says Independent Radio, live, local on the Gulf of Mexico. Yes. It has waves, and it has the WMNF logo looking like a setting sun over the Gulf of Mexico. On the back, it says Zero Silence, just waves. So if you would like this beachy T-shirt for a $100 donation, you can call us at 813-239-9663, or you can donate at WMNF.org. There's so many great thank you gifts. The best way is not for me necessarily to describe them all to you, but if you'd like to go to WMNF.org, you can see pictures and descriptions of all of our swag items, or you can talk to one of our phone bank volunteers. They have all the information about these thank you gifts, and they can take your information. We keep it secure. We do not sell your information to other groups or give it away. It's secure and it's safe. 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org.
Yeah, and Sean, to build on that Gulf of Mexico and beach vibe of our great town and county is really the beach pack. That beach pack has everything that you need to be summer ready, but also promote public radio like WMNF. So you'll have a beach pad that includes a beach sand mat, and we all know the worst thing you can do is go to the beach, bring a towel or bring a blanket or a sheet, put it on there, and it gets full of sand and it gets everywhere. So this is truly, truly a lightweight mat that ensures that no sand gets on there. You also have a really great bandana, almost like a buff. But what I really love about this this beach pack is the dry bag, where you can slide your cell phone in, because we know how hard it is to get our cell phones at the beach. Keep it dry, keep it sand free, but also be able to text and make calls even though it's inside of the bag. And on top of that, the cooler backpack, it's padded, it's got enough space that you can fit your tablet, your phone, and everything. And this beach pack, it's $250 and it includes everything, but it'll also help you be a supporter of WMNF and help us meet our goals. So if you want to contribute, if you want to get that beach pack, give us a call at 813-239-9663. Be beach ready, or simply go to WMNF.org and contribute there.
I'm especially looking for people who can join our Circle of Friends right now. If you'd like to become a sustaining member of WMNF, it doesn't take a zillion dollars a month. It's only $5 a month, $10 a month. You pick the level. Give us a call, 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org. Looks like we have one person on the line. Oh, now it's 2 people on the line. That's great. I'm so happy to get the support. It's very important that we know that there's people out out there in the community that support radio and community radio in Tampa Bay. WMNF.org is where you can join the circle of friends or make a one-time donation. You can also call our phone bank volunteers at 813-239-9663. Right now, I'm going to go to to give you another example, or another reason to support WMNF. It's because of our interviews and our news and public affairs programming and our music, of course. But a couple of months ago, I spoke to Corey Weckerly. He is a lead community organizer for a Manatee County faith-based coalition known as STREAM. That stands for Stronger Together, Reaching Equality Across Manatee. So here's that interview about how what STREAM is asking for in Manatee County.
STREAM, it stands for Stronger Together, Reaching Equality Across Manatee. Like you said, we're a faith-based coalition, so we're essentially a amalgamation of congregations all across Manatee County that are focused on addressing the root causes of systemic issues and poverty in Manatee County. So we're really just focused on advocating for justice for all people that live here and are kind of rooted our organizing in the faith-based aspect of things in regards to like the story of Nehemiah and Amos and Matthew, just a couple of different biblical examples that we have to kind of structure us.
So you are focusing on three main issues right now. We'll talk about these three. Criminal justice reform by way of access to pre-arrest diversion programs, affordable housing, and youth mental health. As you mentioned, that every year in Manatee County, STREAM, like some other faith-based coalitions in some of these other counties, invite local elected officials. They hold what are called Nehemiah Actions. So let's take each focus that we just talked about and find out what you were asking the elected officials for in March and what their responses were. One thing that you asked for is to incentivize at least 1,000 affordable houses at 80% of the area median income or below each fiscal year. How did you phrase that question, and what was your response from commissioners?
Yeah, absolutely. Affordable housing has been kind of one of the forefront issues. It's one of the first things that STREAM kind of took onto their mantle. And yeah, before STREAM started advocating in 2020, 2021, because of COVID, the prior 8 years before that, there had been roughly 900 total units of affordable housing created, and all of those were structured at 120% of the area median income, which in Manatee County, our median income is about $96,000, so it's not necessarily affordable. So STREAM started to advocate after going through our listening process and hearing dozens and dozens of stories about people who were struggling finding housing, or who had lost housing, or were about to lose housing, just everything along those lines. So we went through our research to action process, met with local leaders, people who have expertise in the field and could give us more of kind of the data behind the problem. And we found out that our area median income is just way too high, and focusing the affordable housing at a rate of 120% is just not feasible for most people here. So we asked our county commission, we actually phrased it exactly like that. We asked our county commission to incentivize the development of affordable housing at least 80% or below at 1,000 units or more per fiscal year. And we actually got a resounding yes. We were very happy to have a supportive commission. Commissioner George Cruz actually joined us this year. He joined us last year as well for the Nehemiah Action to respond to the community. And they've been doing a lot of really good work in regards to affordable housing because of the advocacy that STREAM has done. They actually, the county commissioners of Manatee County restructured what's called the Livable Manatee Ordinance, which now means that any developers who want to get some kind of incentivization regarding, say, like density bonuses, or they want fee concessions or anything like that, they now have to be building at least, I think it's like a 30% of the units have to be built at 80% or below of the area median income. So it was a very successful campaign, and we're very happy with the results that we got from it.
So you got a commissioner to say yes, and how does that translate into things that will come before the county commission? Do you think that they're going to follow through with this?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely think that they're going to be following through, especially Commissioner George Cruz. We've met with him numerous times, and he's been very supportive of not only STREAM and the work that we're doing, but also just looking into affordable housing and really how he can help people in the community here. So they've been talking about things like possibly looking into things like tiered incentivization for affordable housing. So we can try to push affordable housing as far down as 30% of the area median income by giving people more bonuses and like density bonuses and fee concessions and things like that for building the lowest possible threshold for affordability that they can. And then you kind of lose some of those bonuses the higher that you go up. So they're talking about, a couple of different things that, of course, we've heard that, developers aren't, or county commissioners aren't developers, so they themselves cannot, build units or give us those affordable units, but they do have, through their leadership and the policies that they create, they do have the ability to incentivize developers as much as they can to make sure that affordability is really a priority for them.
That's Corey Weckerly, who's a lead community organizer for a Manatee County faith-based coalition known as STREAM. And I was speaking to him just a month or two ago here on Tuesday Cafe on WMNF Tampa. And it's this type of interview that I hope that you find interesting and that you support. That we have news and public affairs shows from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock every weekday morning and early afternoon. And we hope that you support this type of programming. And this is our last 24 hours of the fund drive, and we hope that you are going to make a show of support, a financial show of support for WMNF Community Radio with your donation at WMNF.org or by calling 813-239-9663. You can donate as well at WMNF.org. I'm Sean Canan. I'm the News and Public Affairs Director here. I'm also the host of Tuesday Cafe. I'm joined in the studio by Patricia Alonso. Thanks so much.
Oh, it's truly my pleasure, Sean, to be here. And the more I think about what we are doing here, this isn't just about keeping the lights on or the transmitters running. It's about protecting a vital community resource that become even more essential when we look at the media outlets that are out there and they're trying to consolidate or shut down. Your support today, our listening audience, is to ensure that Tampa Bay continues to have a truly independent media voice that answers to our community, not to corporations or political interests. We need to raise more than usual this week to give WMNF the ability to weather through this storm and to keep WMNF independent. You can give from $5 as a Circle of Friends member. You can make a one-time gift or donation of $100 to support and make a real difference in public radio. And you can make a donation, like I said, as simple as $6 to $5 to keep supporting public radio as a Circle of Friends member. So please give us a call at 813-239-9663 or visit our website at WMNF.org and continue to support public radio here at WMNF and help us meet our goal today.
And speaking of Circle of Friends, which is our sustaining membership, we have a challenge out there. We're looking for 3 new people to join our Circle of Friends. Well, Juna from Lakeland just did that with a $10 a month Circle of Friends donation. And she says that I think it's important to keep this going, to keep being informed. Thank you for that donation. We're looking for 2 more people to join our Circle of Friends. We have an anonymous donation here for $50. Thank you to Anonymous. I appreciate that donation in the 727 area code. Really, thank you for that. I think that's really important that that you're supporting us. Thank you so much. And I also have another donation here from Mary Churchill from Odessa. Thank you, Mary. $27.10 donation to support WMNF Community Radio. And here's a big one. Anonymous is donating $500, is getting the WMNF artist T-shirt, and says loves the news shows. So thank you to Anonymous in St. Petersburg. I really appreciate that donation. Thanks to everyone who's contributed so far. We still have, I have to do the math in my head, but I think it's about $400 or $500 more to go this hour. In the last 7 or 8 minutes of the show, we really are hoping that there's going to be people who step up and support this program. And the reason you support it is for our interviews. I want to squeeze this one in before the top of the hour as well. There's a new community resource available in North Tampa. It's called the Tampa Free Every Center. It's located at 11213 North Nebraska Avenue, number 403. That's just south of Fowler Avenue on Nebraska. And I spoke about the Tampa Free Every Center just a month or two ago with activist Desiree Lynn. So here's part of our interview.
The Tampa Every Center is an of, by, and for community-built space, healing space that's going to be free and by donation, providing services that are donated by providers on a rotating weekly schedule. So we're going to be offering accessible public health services. We have a free zine and library, book lending library. We have an herbal care center, first aid station, aromatherapy. It's a safe and affirming space for all community to access.
And you talked about a schedule. So how can people find out what's available when?
Absolutely. So we're going to be announcing our weekly services that are provided through our Instagram. It's at Tampa Free Every Center. If you are a provider, we go by the idea that everyone has something to share, everyone has something to teach. So if you would like to share your services or your care with community, you can go to the link in our bio. It's bit.ly/Every Center, and you can sign up through a quick Google form, and then we will send you information on next steps so you can book some time in the space.
And so people can also maybe find out about when those services are available once your schedule is released. And, you briefly went over a couple of the things, but give us an idea of some of the types of services that you might have available.
Yeah, absolutely. So we created this space intentionally to be an access point for harm reduction supplies, for free hygiene and first aid kits, a place to come if you just need to be in an affirming space. It's trauma-informed care. We're rooted in anti-oppression. We're rooted in anti-carceralism, anti-racism, rooted in justice. We're pro-LGBTQ. And based on those things in this political atmosphere, we're a space of resistance just in the fact that we exist. We have right now Reiki services, blood pressure checks, rapid COVID and rapid flu testing. We have folks signing up for yoga classes to provide upskilling and skill shares and education and public health and resources that are available in our community now.
There might also be accesses for peer mental health support.
It will be, yeah. We're going to have RADMADS meetings here that are going to be peer mental health support. We're very much going to be resistance infrastructure. So at a time where mental health is criminalized, sex work is criminalized, in being a trans body is invisibilized, we're going to be an affirming space where you can access resources, support, through a peer paradigm and be able to access, resources that are available in our community. And we hope to build on that. So it's called the Every Center because it's going to be everything that the community can make it. It's an open door for everyone to come and offer and share and to learn and heal.
And I saw a couple of the other types of services that you're hoping to have, things like art therapy, gardening workshops. How will that work?
Yeah, so the space, we have a beautiful outdoor space as an accompanying piece to our indoor space. If people want to come and garden, if people want to come inside the space and teach herbal healing or herbal gardening for medicinal herbs, we welcome that. It's very much, this community is very creative, and we want to bring that creativity into the space. So we're located inside of the Freedom Center, where the Andrew Joseph Foundation and Mutual Aid Disaster Relief also have offices. There's a lot of different stations here where you can access resources to enliven those things, to teach and to bring alive any practice that you want to offer to everyone else in the community.
So why is having a space like this important in the Tampa Bay community?
Particularly community specific. We've endured several hurricanes in last hurricane season. We're a space where we have a large refugee community. We're a space where people are fighting to resist mass roundups of our cherished community members who are undocumented and of mixed status. We are a space that has been lively with resistance to rising fascism, to genocide, to all the things that are happening right now to weaponize truth and healthcare against the most vulnerable bodies among us. So we are going to be a space of resistance and sanctuary, a space of communal care. And we know why it's important in every community to have accessible public health services. And in our community, that's no different. But the impetus is because we're resisting all the ways that the most vulnerable among us are being criminalized and invisibilized before us.
Well, that's Desiree Lynn, who is an activist in the Tampa Bay community. She was talking about the Tampa Free Every Center located in North Tampa at 11213 North Nebraska Avenue, number 403. That's south of Fowler Avenue. We were speaking together on Tuesday Cafe just a couple of months ago, and it's the type of interview that you get on WMNF, and we hope you support it with your financial contribution. The number to call in is 813-239-9663. You can also donate at WMNF.org. We're still looking for $482 during the Tuesday Cafe. We thank everyone who has contributed during Tuesday Cafe and during Democracy Now! Next hour, we're going to be raising funds as well. We're going to bring you a speech from Naomi Klein, so I'm super looking forward to hearing that. And then at 12 o'clock, Nadine Smith brings you Wide Awake America. At 1 o'clock is The Scoop, WMNF's 5-minute summary of the day's news. You've been listening to Tuesday Cafe, coming to you live on June 3rd, 2025. Thanks so much to everyone who has contributed. We've got 1 minute left. I'm hoping to be able to thank one or two more people. If you can call in right now, 813-239-9663, or donate at WMNF.org. I should play some theme music so you're not just hearing me talk. This is WMNF Tampa. Thanks to everyone who has supported Tuesday Cafe. Here's the number again if you want to support Tuesday Cafe or Democracy Now! Or Wide Awake America or any of WMNF's great programming. 813-239-9663 or WMNF.org. The NPR News is coming up next in about 30 seconds. And then after that, we will hear a speech from Alternative Radio by Naomi Klein. So stay tuned for that and continue to let the donations come in. We want you to donate. 813-239-9663. Is community radio important to you? Donate at WMNF.org. This is WMNF Tampa.